Okay, let's begin. Dear students, today we will speak about communicating process. Okay, I will share my presentation with you. Today we will speak about communication as in management, and we will speak about it maybe in a little bit strange form for you, because I decided not only to describe communication process for you, but also I decided within my presentation to connect communication process, I would say not communication process, but developing of communication process. I decided to connect it with a history of management. So let's begin. As you know from our course management, I do believe that everybody here knows that there are 4 functions of management. Planning, first of all, we have to create a strategy for our organization. Then organizing, we have to delegate every task to some subordinates, and we have to create an organizational structure for our organization. Then we have to set a reward and an incentive for everybody. It was my mistake to say reward, because it could be not only positive but also negative incentive. Yes, and after all, we have to check the success of our organization. We have to check whether our objectives are attained as a result of our activity. And a manager is a person who implements all these functions. And maybe you will think why we are speaking about communicating, and communicating is not a function of management, but it is a linking process which connect all functions together, first of all, and which lets the manager to interact with all, not only subordinates, with all members of her or his organization. That's why it is crucial for organizational success. And it is also crucial for all functions of management. I would like to begin today's lecture with rather interesting data that managers spend between 50 and 90% their time communicating. So anyway, as a future manager, you will spend at least half of your time, at least half of your working time communicating. You will have to set orders to your subordinates. You will have to communicate with your bosses to understand their orders. You will communicate with not only within your organization, but you will communicate with external environment. You will communicate with your suppliers. You will communicate with your clients. Actually, the percentage of every communicational member will be different, but generally you will spend a lot of time communicating. Let's first of all, before speaking about a modern view on a communicational process, let's first of all discuss the history of communicating. Generally, people realized that communications are crucial and essential for organizational success, even in ancient time. As you might remember from our previous course from Management 2, even in Roman Empire, they built roads because in that time it wasn't the possibility to use the internet actually, and it was the only possible way to communicate, to send a person with a message. And it's quite obvious that if we have good roads, the communicating process will be organized in the easiest way, and if our organization is rather big, as it was Roman Empire, for example, it was the only one possible way to manage this huge empire, to have a net of roads and to use it for communicating. And actually, you can watch this picture. It is the old Appia Road in Rome. And when I was in Rome, I was rather surprised that this road is better than the road to my house, generally in Kharkiv. And the road to my house was built about, I would say, about 30 years ago, and it was renovated, but this old Appia Road in Rome, which was built more than 2,000 years ago, is better, is much better. Yes. So the next breakthrough connected with communication was, I also hope that you remember this story from our current course. It was connected with Elton Mayo when he was invited to solve a problem within a company. And the problem was that a labor turnover at some position was very high. And he realized, and I hope you remember this picture, we spoke about this, during our motivating function. So average labor turnover at this enterprise was in the middle between 5 and 6%, and at this very position labor turnover was 250%. And he discovered that the problem was that people didn't have time and opportunity to communicate. And it was like a torture for them. And when he advised to organize 2 10-minute intervals, breaks, laborers became happier, and they stopped quitting the company. So the next, I would say, stage of looking at communication process was analyzing it as a reward for subordinates. And the next step of these ideas was a pyramid of Abraham Maslow. I do hope that you remember this pyramid. And the third level here is social needs. And we can, I mean organization managers, we can satisfy these social needs for our subordinates by providing them possibility of communicating. So if to ask, is it possible to use communicating as a reward? The answer would be yes, definitely yes. And as you must remember from our motivating from our lectures connected with motivating, there are two types of reward. Extrinsic reward. Extrinsic reward, this is something which can be provided by a manager to a subordinate for the successful completion of a task. It could be anything. It could be money, financial reward. It could be some non-financial reward, some position, for example, some promotion. But also you have to use as a manager, you have to understand that you have to use an intrinsic reward. Intrinsic reward means that some rewards could be inbuilt in some activity. So if a person likes to communicate, it means that it is possible to motivate this person with the help of providing some social interaction to this very person. If speaking about, but you have to understand that you should use, you have to understand that it will be connected not with all your subordinates. Generally, not all people like verbal communication. If speaking, for example, about me, I don't like to communicate verbally. I propose written communicating or communicating in other forms, and we will speak about it a little bit later. But okay, a little bit later. So you have to use a contingency approach to management. It means that there is no best way for motivating any subordinate. You have to understand and to choose the best way for these very subordinates. And if you want to use communication as a reward, there are some possible points mentioned by Abraham Maslow. It could be organizing some meetings, it will be allowing some social interaction, it will be creating team spirit within your organization, and some other. And now we are beginning to speak about modern state of communicating. And generally, you have, first of all, even before we are beginning to speak about the modern state of communicating, you have to understand that nowadays there are a lot of possible ways to communicate. Even within our course, we can communicate verbally. For example, within a lecture you can ask me, and after lecture I always ask you, maybe somebody has a questions. If it is not possible for somebody to visit a lecture, this person has a possibility to watch YouTube, this lecture on my YouTube channel. It is also a way of communicating. We are using written communication in our Viber group. Then I'm sharing some information, actually not me, but Alisa Nikolaevna is sharing some information in table with your grades. So we are using a lot of ways of communicating, and it is quite natural because we live in the 21st century and our century provides us a lot of way of communicating. And if speaking about the general general description of this term, I would say that communication is the transfer of the information from one person to another person. It could be some internal communication. It means communication within your organization. We have to separate internal from external because in these two types of communicating, we are using different techniques. So it could be all communications of your organization could be divided into internal communications. Here is a way of, I decided to actually to use some maybe a little bit funny examples, but to let you understand, to force you think that it's not only when you are speaking with your colleagues, it's not the only way of communicating. For example, if there is some blackboard in your working room, in your working office, and some information is put at this board, so it is also the way of communicating. For example, as about our department, you know that you might see that we have such board at our department, and if somebody wants to share some information about, for example, some interesting conference, about possibility to visit some place, because we have our professional trade organization and they are organizing some trips for professors. So everybody is welcome to put some piece of information, at least very word. So it is a way, also a way of internal communication. And external communication is communication with your partners outside the organization, and as an example could be, for example, a letter, and communication as a linking process is necessary in both directions, between parts of the organization and between the organization and its environment. So we can, if speaking about communication generally, we can divide it into communication process between manager and subordinates, between subordinates, between with clients, with local communities. It's also quite important, and actually now I'm working at the problems connected with corporate social responsibility. So the modern state of the problem is that local communities also could be a source of competitive advantage for some organization. It means that if we have a good communication with local communities, so local communities will, the people from this local community will buy our product and support our organization. If they feel that we are responsible. It's not the only way of increasing the competitiveness of the organization, but I decided just to set you this example as a most obvious example. If speaking generally about communication process within organization, you can organize it with the help of the following algorithm. So here is in black. Let's speak about the communication process when you are communicating with your subordinate. So you are the black and your subordinate is brown. So you have an idea. You have an idea, for example, what could be an idea? An idea could be, for example, some task which must be delegated to your subordinate. So then you want something to be done, and you first of all you have to think how to encode it. It means that you have to formulate your idea, your task, and it must be formulated in the most clear form for your subordinates. Actually, we discussed it a little bit when speaking about smart technology for objectives, but I'm stressing one more time that even if your instructions are clear, it could be understood with some mistakes. Just an example. During the fourth course, every fourth course, within the fourth course, I'm delivering the course Strategic Management, and if everybody is alive, we will meet in this course next year. And within the course, students from Ukraine are communicating with students of just a moment, dear students, just a moment. Somebody is calling me. I'm sorry. 1 minute. Ой, да мне неудобно, я раздетый, не могу. Не знаете, пожалуйста, больше, переключи ее. Открыл. Давай, вверху не звони больше, пожалуйста. I'm really sorry, somebody called to my door. Okay. And within this, within the subject, our students, Ukrainian students, are communicating with Slovenian students. They are interacting, they are presenting some information. And just one example. There are, this year, there are 9 Ukrainian teams, and I prepared the letter for them, and there was a table with email addresses, and every team had to choose emails of Slovenian students from the table and to send the letter to them. That's all. I wrote a detailed instruction, and it was rather clear. But you have to understand that the task was rather simple. So here was in one column Ukrainian members, and at the next box it was mentioned Slovenian students' email addresses for these very Ukrainian students. And Ukrainian students just had to take these emails and to send them letters. Two teams from 9 made some mistakes. So generally, if it is just an example that even if you have prepared the information in the clear form, you must be prepared that somebody will understand this information wrongly. When you are decided to encode your message in this situation, you are choosing the form of communication. It could be a letter, it could be an order, it could be oral communication. So we will speak about all these types today, but a little bit later. So you encode, in other words, you prepare your idea in some form, and then you are selecting the message channel. Then through this message channel, the information is sent to your subordinate, but also you have to understand that there is some external noise. Noise means that something can interrupt, can make your communication process more difficult. We will speak about this problem with the help of a very funny example. At the end of our lecture, I will show you a short video. Okay, so then having got the information, your subordinate decoding it, it means that he or she has to understand this information for herself or himself, and then he or she will begin to act. And generally, you can say, okay, Pavlo, you're wasting time, everything is clear. You have to understand, even if it is clear at this very picture, it could be some problems, and you have to be ready for these very problems, and there is only one possible way to be prepared for these problems is to understand the general communicating process, even if it looks quite simple. So factors which must be considered when choosing a method of communications. First of all, you have to evaluate cost, and you have to select the cheapest method of communicating if the other features, the other characteristics is the same. So generally, if, for example, oral communicating works good for your organization, you don't have to prepare some written instruction and waste your money and paper and your time if oral communication works good for your company. And then you have to understand the speed of communication. So sometimes it is quite crucial if the information transmitted very quickly, and sometimes it's not crucial. For example, if speaking about my example with our board, so it's not crucial for everybody to take part in some conference, for example. So just if it is okay, let it be. So the speed is not crucial for that information. And also you have to think about the security of communication, because sometimes it must be organized communication process with non-transparent way. And also in some cases, the communication must be recorded. Okay, as an example, this year, one of my master students, I would say he's rather lazy, and from the very beginning I realized this situation. So I'm sending I'm communicating with him not only orally, but I'm communicating with him with the help of emails. And if he says, okay, I didn't have support, so everything is here. So I sent my recommendations to him, and it was only his decision not to follow to these recommendations. So if somebody checks this communication, it will be rather clear for him. So it is, can be noted for you that if some communication is rather crucial for your organization, it must be recorded. It must be recorded. Another example of crucial communication which are recorded is communication within labor safety within any organization. We at our department, we have a big like journal, textbook. So we are writing our surnames, and we are we are signing this journal, and if somebody, I don't know, put 2 fingers into electricity set, so our head of our department will not be punished for this, because she told us that it's not a good idea to do it. So we have to keep our safety, our lives, and if somebody communicate with her about this problem, she will show these recordings. So it is just a tip. If something is crucial for you as a manager, please record it. It is very important. There are, okay, we have only 3 minutes. So let's begin with the methods of communicating after the break. Now we are making a break, and we will communicate. We will meet in 5 or 6 minutes. Okay, let's continue. I'm sharing my screen. Just a moment. So when you are choosing the method of communicating, you are welcome to select one of three methods. It could be oral or verbal communication. You can say your subordinates that you have to do something. You can say it personally, or you can say it like generally. Then it could be written communication in organizations. Written communications are usually used in the form of some written instructions. And generally, these written instructions are usually connected with not a person, but with some position. And also, it is possible to use visual way of communicating. It is some presentations, something like that. And you are, I think you are smart enough to understand that a good manager usually uses all these three methods of communicating, and even if she or he wants to send one piece of information, she or he can use a mixture of these types of communication methods. If speaking about advantages and disadvantages of every method, if speaking about oral communication, it is rather quick, just to say it and that's all, and you can have feedback from communicating immediately. Just if somebody didn't understand something, the person can ask you immediately. But it has no record, so it is possible for your subordinate to say, okay, you didn't tell us that we have to do it, so it is your problem. And it is rather difficult to remember some pieces of information. So, for example, if speaking about our department, our head of our department, Natalia Stanislavna, always send some orders in written form, and it is easier to recollect it, to find this information, because, you know, if somebody haven't written some information, you must have a very strong memory, or you have to note it. And if you don't decided not to do it, so it will be an obligation of your subordinates to do it. If speaking about written communication, advantages of this type of communication are that record kept, and we don't have to remember everything, we don't have to keep it in our mind, because everything is written. And if speaking about disadvantages, no instant feedback. It means that you sent the letter, and not everybody reported that, okay, I've got the letter, so I will do it. It's not like this generally. And generally, if something is written, it can be shown for somebody else, and it could be also a problem for a person who are sending some information. Visual communication, so it is using some charts, some presentations. it has some advantages that the following advantages that it is rather easy to understand, and it is also possible within this way of communicating to show some to make it more clear, but some people don't like visual information, and also it takes much more time to prepare this way of communicating. You know, if speaking about verbal communication, you don't have to prepare, you just think a little bit and say, okay. To communicate with the help of some letter, you have to print it, yes, and it takes some time. And to prepare a presentation, for example, it takes, I would say, about from 4 to 6 hours to prepare every presentation for you. My presentation, maybe you think that they are rather simple, but believe me, when you try to prepare some presentation, you will understand how much time it takes. So it is rather important disadvantage that must be taken into account. And at the end of our today's lecture, I'd like to discuss you the noise. It means that when we are transmitting some information, it could be understood in the wrong way. And how it is possible, I will show you with the help of this video. Okay, please. It is like motorcycle, yes, and this person is trying to transmit this very information. So let's watch the video. Here is everything is good, I think. Yes. Almost good here. I think almost good, still almost good here. From these, I think it's not easy to understand that it is a motorbike. Here is like dancing a little bit, yes. Almost dancing. And you can see that people, they actually, at this stage, they don't understand the motions. At the beginning, it was some meaning, and now people just only try to transmit these motions, but they actually, they don't understand. Okay, lady is dancing. Lady is dancing. Okay. Okay, dance. It's just like washing the window, washing the mirror, or dancing also. Okay, let's go to the end of this very video. So here is the end. The final stage. The final stage. And now this lady, I think she will show to the first person. No. Okay. With the help of this video, I wanted to, sorry, I wanted to show you that how it is possible to switch. I've never used a video before, so I don't understand how to skip this video. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm switching. I'm switching to another screen. So when we have this course online, we are usually playing with students. I'm taking always the new set of motions, and at the beginning it is rather clear to understand the purpose of these motions, as it was in this very example that it was like you have to take a bicycle and then ride it. But in the middle of this transmitting of this information, people did not understand the idea of these motions, and that's why they decided to send totally different messages. And the only way of avoiding this problem is organizing feedback system. When actually when you, if you look carefully, the first person in this line here tried to use it, so he maybe asked whether this lady understood him or not. And the same piece of activity must be used by you as a future manager. So you have to understand whether your subordinates have realized your order. And it could be done in different forms. And if you are if you understand that really it is clear for everybody, so you can hope that your order will be, that your subordinates will be act according to your order. So today we spoke as an outcome from today's lecture. Today we will speak about communication process, and generally communications are quite important to provide links between all parts, all members of organization. And there are different ways of communicating. You can use the best way for these very situations. You have to use a contingency approach, and the most important outcome from today's lecture, that you always have to use feedback system. Thank you for your attention. You are welcome to ask questions. If there is no questions, then bye-bye. See you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.